I'm Qory,
I'm Manuel.
and we're just two best friends talking.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Two Best Friends Talking podcast. We are your hosts, Manuel and
Qory.
So, it is episode 5, and I think we will keep this episode a lot shorter than the previous one.
Yeah, we'll be more mindful of the time.
Yes, so let's get into it. So, let's start with our weekly catch-up. So, Corey, what has happened for you? What has happened the past week for you?
Past week, rather uneventful, just chilling, doing my usual things. The only thing which matters is something that both you and I can talk about. Yeah, which is just that we had dinner at Rudy's place. So shout out to Rudy and Mai. Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah. It was a fun dinner.
So yeah, you want to talk more about the dinner? It was just fun times
was
with
fun.
friends. Yeah.
Catching up, realize we're adults because for those of you who don't know, but most of you should know, July 10 is elections, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
We'll not be getting into any deep dives. We are not experts in Singapore politics at all. So, yeah, it was a fun dinner, fun catch up. Anything else for you, Corey, other than Persona 5 Royale?
No, nothing much. I did, for the dinner, I will brag because I think I've earned it, which is I cooked.
Yeah.
I cooked for you guys.
Yes.
So, and I got the seal of approval from most of you, if not all of you. So, pretty proud of that. So yeah, that's pretty much how it's been. For you.
I want to point out, I was the only one who said that it would be better if you added salt.
Actually, you're not really the only one, but okay,
Fine.
I'll give that to you. Okay. So yeah, salt. Remember to salt your food, guys. Very important.
Yeah.
Important seasoning.
Salt
All right,
makes
I
everything
think that
delicious.
wraps up our catch out. Really short.
Yeah, super short. So next we'll move on to our non-sponsors of the week. Corey, I'll let you start off with this one.
Okay, so my non-sponsor of the week will have to be Poker again. Poker. This time I have my favorite Poker product, which is Poker Iced Lemon Tea. Now this is not the low sugar abomination that is the OG, and I think it is the best iced lemon tea product out there right now in Singapore. It's guaranteed fun times whenever I have a bottle of this. And thank you to my sister for buying this for me. It's a surprise. So I highly recommend people to try Poker Iced Lemon Tea. It's a fantastic product. And whenever I feel down and I need something to boost my energy levels and my happiness levels, I treat myself to a nice ice cold bottle of Poker Iced Lemon Tea. So get yours at a convenience store or NTUC near you. All right, that's my non-sponsor.
Okay, my turn. The same spectrum, I guess you could say, are hold on.
Delicious Poker Iced Lemon.
Pepsi. 2 1.5 liter bottles worth of Pepsi, which I drank in the course of 4 days.
Oh.
Even 3. It's delicious. I haven't had soft drinks in a while, so I can treat myself. Yes, the last time I had soft drinks was the dinner.
Oh yeah. Which was last weekend.
So for some reason, I've been digging Pepsi more than I've been digging Coke. So yeah, Pepsi. I don't know why.
And question for our listeners: Coke or Pepsi? All right, you let us know. Okay, let us know.
It's Pepsi currently.
My mom's a Coke person, so I'm also partial to Coke. So, but Pepsi's are non-sponsors, so I lean towards
another non-sponsor is my dad. He bought me my dinner today. It's just before fun. He just came home, so gotta eat during the recording.
Okay. So Manuel will be muting himself when he takes a bite. All right. But we just wanna reiterate, we aren't professional. But we try.
Maybe it's gonna be a mukbang podcast next week or something. I'm kidding. No, it's not.
Okay, so that's our non-sponsor of the week, guys. All right, check those products out. Let us know what you think of them. All right, on to our main topic.
Our main topic for today, and it'll lead into our second topic, would be TV series nostalgia. So TV series being what we grew up as, what shows we grew up with as a kid. So let's just start off by saying not everyone was able to watch from Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney Channel, but I was lucky to have. But of course, other people were able to watch those shows through their own local channels or by their own means. So, Chloe, what's the most prominent kids show, quote unquote, you could remember when you watched as a kid?
I am one of those people who didn't have the privilege of watching the American, getting access to the American TV channels. So it was always Kid Central, and then eventually when they had their revamp to Octo, it was Octo. But yeah, whenever I did have a chance to watch Kid Central, it'd be the Digimon, it'd be Pokemon, SpongeBob. I remember just my sister and I just enjoying SpongeBob, and also my dad. My dad just gets so amused by SpongeBob. When even now, like when we watch, on Netflix, SpongeBob is on Netflix. Yeah, then or even like Pokemon, like short clips of Pokemon on YouTube, you can still see the child in my dad's eye, just enjoying, just really innocently enjoying the content, which I don't think I can at this point, at least at this stage of my life. But yeah, it was a lot of Digimon. I remember, I think my fondest memories growing up was just watching a lot of Digimon, which unknowingly it was my first foray into anime. And then other than that, I do remember being able to catch like glimpses of anime on Art Central at night. Yeah, the very rare times I'd stay up. Yeah, and then just flick the channel 5 and then Art Central. So yeah, honestly, those are the very few children shows that I fondly remember. Yeah. What about you, man?
For me, it would be I wouldn't say deep cut, but Cat Dog. I was a Nickelodeon boy, very young when I was very young. So it was Cat Dog, Rocco's Modern Life. God, what else? Well, I guess that's it. Don't really see. Yeah, it's not really deep cut. It's just remembering the two most nostalgic shows. And after that, I became more of a Cartoon Network kid. I didn't
Ah,
have Disney Channel. Yeah, until I was a lot older. So Cartoon Network. What did I watch in Cartoon Network? Those Teen Titans. Ben 10.
mm,
Oh my gosh, Ben 10. Ben 10 was so dope. It's crazy how that show went through, I feel like it was three
like
or four,
revamps,
yeah,
right?
art
Art
style
styles.
changes. So they might make into their own Ben 10 verse, like Ben 10 into the Ben verse or whatever.
But it's the
That
same. It's
was,
the same. It's the same pattern. The story
yeah,
progresses. For sure.
when they reboot, I'm not sure. I think when they reboot, they actually do reboot the whole
Oh,
story. Yeah. Then I eventually watched some Disney Channel. I don't remember what though. It's just the Mickey Mouse cartoons, I guess, the classics and the new ones that we did, all the sketch shows. That was fun,
mm.
man. TV shows. Oh, and like Korea, I also watched Digimon. I feel like, oh, wait, let me see. I'm gonna quickly Google what the series are. So Digimon series one would be
I
like,
only remember thoroughly watching Digimon Adventure, but because of I mainly watched it because we had access to the CDs. Like all
hmm,
those pasamalams back then, they would sell the CDs, right? So the Digimon CDs were available, and I remember we only got access to, I think, like three story arcs. So there was that whole chunk of the ending that my sister and I didn't have access to until when we were
mm.
much older, and then we had access to the internet and all those anime streaming sites, right? So I remember my sister and I remember watching the Digimon CDs, and they were so iconic to us because they didn't use the official US dub. So they had the Japanese soundtrack, and then what they did was they brought in a Filipino English dub. So it was you had the English dub, but they spoke in a Filipino accent. Yeah,
Yeah, I seen that one.
and until we realized, right, then my sister and I thought like that was it was the only available Digimon dub ever. So so oh, I tell you, it's just so nostalgic, man. Like just thinking about it. I honestly believe it's much better than the English dub, because the English dub they had their own soundtrack. They completely removed like the
Mm.
Japanese songs. Yeah, which is a
And
shame. Yeah, just so they can cater to the Western audience. But yeah,
They,
also the Filipino dub.
I'm surprised they still do that in anime nowadays. They westernize some of the Japanese soundtracks, which is
Yeah.
okay. Well, I wouldn't know which specifically they've done, but my most recent example would be Dragon Ball during the what arc is that? The one with Jiren. So
Oh,
they
okay.
replaced the Ultra Instinct theme with a Western version of the Ultra Instinct theme. It
Oh,
just doesn't hit the same. Yeah, oh, it just doesn't hit the same.
they also
So it's a shame.
yeah, animes also tend to change some of the translation also. Like there's the
Mm.
infamous Pokemon jelly donuts,
Jelly
jelly
donuts.
donuts one, which my sister and I also thought they were jelly donuts. Yeah, we didn't know what onigiri was back then. So yeah, it kind of
Gosh.
reminds you just how responsible pop culture is in educating people. So
Mhm.
yeah, but you can't change it, of course. It's such an iconic meme. It's a meme-worthy sentence by itself, really. So yeah, man. Yeah.
Same. So what other shows have I? Oh, I have a funny story with like shows in general. So like what you mentioned, Pasamaram.
Yeah.
We I went to one of those markets with my mom, and then I asked, "Oh, mom, you should buy this series for me. I think it's most of the series that's released right now." And I showed her. It was Family Guy. I was like, "Oh, it's a cartoon, and it says
How old were you?
Family
How old were
Guy."
you?
Well, definitely not 18.
Not old enough to
Not old enough.
appreciate it. Okay.
Well, not old enough that I should watch it, but I watched it when I was a lot younger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, like, so it really is just like, Mom, it's just a cartoon. Can I just watch it, please? Okay, sure. And I watched it, like, yes. Oh my God. I watched
Shit.
as a
Yeah,
kid. I watched that.
that actually reminds me that I think in secondary school, then my family actually started collecting the Simpsons, DVDs of the
Mm.
Simpsons. Yeah, so we'd be watching from like, and it's before the writing quality dropped. Like there's a period where it completely dropped, right? So it was like during the heyday of the Simpsons, before the 20s hit, before the 20 plus seasons hit. Yeah, so like, I remember just we watched like one DVD, and then because the jokes at the time, like we were mature enough to understand them, and also the themes weren't as they weren't really that controversial, I guess. Yeah. So my parents, yeah, we also watched my parents, and yeah, we enjoyed all the episodes. I still remember I have fond memories of watching it with my sister. Yeah, and we still have the DVDs actually. Like, I'm considering whether to sell them on Carousel just to get rid of Carter, but I think maybe not. Yeah, but yeah, your story about Family Guy completely reminded
Yeah.
me. Yes, Simpsons.
Like, able to get away with, yeah, for me, I think my parents didn't allow me to get The Simpsons because they knew what the themes were about. So,
For me,
like
it was
adult
South Park.
cartoons.
South
Yeah,
Park,
Oh, yeah. South. Another funny
notorious.
story. There was one South Park movie where the synopsis is, I believe it's the devil tried to get Canada and the US to go to war. I believe that was the synopsis. Okay, but anyway, I watched that also. It's like the uncut, unrated, and unsomething version. Oh my god, I can't believe I watched this as a kid.
How do you get access to it on the internet?
No, it was a DVD, or no, not even DVD. Maybe it might be a VHS. Ooh, wow,
Wow,
VHS.
VHS, South Park on
Mm.
VHS. What?
Well, I mean, VHSs were a thing in the Philippines up until a certain time.
Oh, okay,
Like
okay,
like a
okay,
rewinder. Oh my god, VHSs.
okay, okay.
But yeah, I watched that. It's just nostalgia, thinking of cartoons.
Yeah, and I feel like
Also,
as you get older, especially for like Digimon will be the main case for me. Like I remember finally rewatching it properly in the Japanese dub back in
mhm.
poly. I remember I just decided, okay, you know what, I want to watch Digimon again. And at that time, my family had already gotten rid of the Filipino dub CDs, which I was so sad. I don't even remember that happening. I don't even remember
I
the CDs being removed. So
wonder if you can find them.
I think with enough effort, you can find the CDs. But I'm sure but the Filipino dub, I remember seeing it on YouTube. But I think they took it down because of copyright reasons.
I
So
found it.
yeah, yeah. So So yeah, I remember just on one day, like during poly, like I just decided, you know what, I want to rewatch Digimon from a fresh perspective as an adult.
Mm.
And man, the themes really hit you hard. And I think that point I realized like, wow, you know, the writing for the show is really really good. Like it's not a children's show, you know, it's a well written show for adults, which also appeals to children. Yeah, so yeah, I think as you get older, your appreciation for media also grows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so like growing up, what other shows have you like decided to branch into?
To branch into, that means to explore.
Yeah, like live action, because you know, cartoons are for kids. Like that
Oh,
phase we all eventually had.
I, I didn't really have that phase though.
Well,
But
I know you watched Psych as a
oh yes,
whatever
yes,
age. Yeah.
yeah, Psych. Yeah. I got into it, in secondary school, really early.
Mm.
Yeah, a very fateful day. I was bored. Come back from home. I was bored. Turned on channel 5, and then boom,
Of
this show
Psych.
was showing, and I was just so intrigued by the premise. It was a fake. It was a guy pretending to be a psychic helping the police catch criminals. And I was like, "Yo, what's this show, man?" And then I saw, "Oh, it's Psych." Okay, then I waited. I saw the you know, the schedule, right, when they will
Mhm.
show the next episode. So then I waited for the next episode, watched the whole episode in full, and then I was sold. You know, I told my family, I was like, "Hey, we need to watch this episode. You know, this show is really good." And then it just evolved into. I remember just forcing my mom, dad, and my sister to sit down with me on one weekday or weekend, I can't remember, and then we all watched the episode from scratch. And then now we have every single season on DVD.
Oh my god.
Like we will
Oh man, I
legit
want
order
to.
it, you know. My mom will help order it from Amazon. Yeah.
Wow,
So
back in the day.
yeah, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I think yeah, like
Well,
I think that's my first, aside from The Simpsons, my first mature live action TV show.
you
Yeah,
say aside from The Simpsons?
aside from The Simpsons, because The Simpsons is a cartoon, it's
Yeah. Ah,
animated.
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
the first live action
Ah,
TV show that I had a full exposure to. Yeah,
okay.
so it's
All right.
like yeah.
So for me, oh god, what did I watch? Well, the only one that I could really think of was what was that show called? Breaking Bad. Oh, Breaking Bad. Ooh, critically acclaimed. The thing is, though, I never finished it because by the time I started watching it, I already knew most of the things, which is a shame because everyone else was watching it. You know, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, it was really good. It's a really good show, but just couldn't finish it because what I already knew. And then what other good live action?
Yeah.
Well, 2011, around that time, Game of Thrones, because there's 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. I started watching Game of Thrones then.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was fun all the way until last year's season 8. See what else? Heck and Polly, any live action? No. Ooh, I've been watching. I watched Dexter back in the day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Dexter. That one was fun. But because I believe we had the DVDs for it, so I watched it almost all up until the final season that I didn't watch, which is another shame. Yeah, it's just as a kid or at that time, I guess TV series wasn't really my thing, so I would just watch shows, but not follow it. You know what I mean? Like,
Like
like
you weren't as conscious,
I wasn't as invested.
yeah,
Also,
you weren't
yeah,
as invested.
but like
Yeah.
with live action, but like anime, I was more invested.
Mm.
Man, I even finished Avatar. Man, oh, Last Airbender, another thing. Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, and the anime series. I finished all of that. Man, I'm a weeb. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. I
It's just
think like for me personally, I didn't really, I don't think I experienced that transition from, oh, I appreciated anime and then I appreciated live action and then I appreciated film. I think it was all of them like parallel to each other happening at the same time. So yeah, I'll be watching different shows, right? But I think again, it was around poly time, and then extending to NS. Then I started, you know, appreciating just visual media in a greater way. And yeah, and of course that will translate into different exploring different genres of film or anime, different types of writing, and then also being more critical, being more conscious when you're watching it. So you're not just watching it for the enjoyment, the story, but you're also watching it to appreciate how the creators they crafted the whole experience for the viewer. Yeah. Do you feel that like
Yeah,
something
like
the
like you
evolution?
get really involved with how the show gets created.
Mm.
Like even to the point where you want more of the show, like behind the scenes, you start to chase that kind of
Yeah.
chase that feeling of
Yeah.
I need more.
Yeah. You mentioned behind the scenes, and yeah, it kind of reminded me of again back to my childhood, right? Like being exposed to the Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and then also owning the DVDs. And at that time, I'll say for the younger viewers, the younger listeners, right? DVDs back then compared to now, DVDs back then were legendary. Okay, when you bought a DVD, you weren't just getting the film; you were getting so much more. Okay,
Mm,
for reference, right? For comparison, the Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, the three films, the box sets for those three films, right? The amount of content that they have
mm.
compared to getting okay, I'm just gonna throw Avengers Infinity War under the bus right now, but to Avengers Infinity War, Apple with the extra bonus features, the making of, I tell you, man, like the drop in the
Nothing.
drop in quality, I just cannot, man. Like if you know what I'm talking about, Lord of the Rings box set, right? The appendices, the making of, it's longer than the entire three films, like the making of. It's just chock full of content, but I digress.
Wow. It's
But
like
yeah,
eleven
just
hours.
I think that period of time, being exposed to that kind of media, right, it crafts your appreciation of, and also your interest in like you said, the behind the scenes
Mm.
processes. Yeah, yeah. So I think now, if people who are into the art industry, our friends who are studying art, and also people who are just getting to appreciate media, right? Yeah, I think both of us, we highly encourage you to check out the behind the scenes, just the whole process of it, because in harkening back to episode 4, right, when we talk about appreciating music, right, and expanding your tastes. So I think it translates, the same kind of mentality translates to TVs and films also. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, man. Yeah,
Yeah, no problem. All right, so should I move on to the next topic?
sure, why not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should. Okay, so why TV streaming or why TV series in general? The reason is because subscription services have now become a thing to the point that it's like how you have to buy individual channels or cable or whatever.
yeah,
Like we're just going back to that cycle with all the different subscription services different corporations have been providing. So that's the reason a lot of these corporation or streaming services also or have been streaming these old shows that we've watched. So just scrolling through Netflix, I saw Avatar: The Last Airbender. They also have Full Metal Alchemist.
yeah,
And so I just kept to think about all the shows I watched as a kid. So
yeah.
streaming services, though, it's like a channel now. It's like this day and age's channel, except you get to watch what you want on demand, which is obviously a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think once upon a time, would you say Netflix held that monopoly?
Definitely not. I think in Singapore, looking back to when I was a kid, so I think the whole idea of cable, it wasn't that prevalent. It's a very American thing. It's a very Western thing, right? Cable. So I think the only reason why streaming services are so popular now, number one, of course, is globalization. So people are more aware of the content in the world, right? Like maybe when you were a kid, you weren't aware of Psych. You don't know what Psych is. But now if you have Hulu, oh, you can watch Psych on Hulu. Yeah. So yeah, globalization, people are more aware of different forms of media. And I think number two also is the accessibility of media, the ease of accessibility. So your phone,
So easy.
yeah, your console, your TV. I'm pretty sure everyone, you know, in Singapore right now, you have some kind of access to YouTube or any kind of form of media. It's almost guaranteed. It's almost
Mhm.
guaranteed. Yeah. So I think back then maybe not so because of just technology and also just globalization, the amount of globalization that hadn't happened. But I think
Mm.
now, yeah, it really explains why Netflix is in Singapore, for example. They see that the Singapore market is something valid, is something to explore. So yeah, it's a very interesting question, and also yeah, we want to encourage our viewers also to think about it. So don't take things for granted, but rather try and be more conscious about what you're consuming and why do you think it's so prevalent right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your thoughts, Manuel, about do you
Yeah,
think
because
if Netflix happened in Singapore back then, it would have been as popular?
what had happened? Like what you said, globalization was a big factor into it. Internet was, well, I guess internet was both a boon and a bane for humankind. But yeah, that's a separate topic. I feel like when Netflix started streaming, they were the first of its kind, so they held that market for quite a bit. That's why Disney put in their shows along with other, like I believe The Office was also in it.
Yeah,
But now each um, network has their own streaming service. Disney
yeah.
Plus, that's recently just about to arrive in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Peacock
The
also.
Office,
Peacock is NBC.
yeah, and yeah, The Office was NBC, so NBC has their own premium streaming service. It's just going back to like like cable television, except we have the videos on demand. I guess it's better.
Yeah, because
Even
people don't watch TV on TV.
mm,
You watch TV on your
yeah,
phones.
even
So yeah,
even video games. Video game corporations have their own streaming, not maybe streaming, but subscription service.
yeah.
Uh, Xbox
Xbox
Game
Game
Pass
Pass.
is the leader in that market. God, Xbox
Yes.
Game Pass is so good.
Yeah.
This is the expansion of media nowadays, especially
Mm.
with the internet. And like it just makes us think back to better times where you would have to chase that schedule. I think when I was a kid, I wrote down some of the schedules for TV shows just so I could
Oh,
watch it. Yeah. Eventually, eventually, I procrastinated so much that I just sat there and watched whatever was showing. I was like, I guess the next 2 hours have pretty good shows, and then but like from 9 to 9:30, it's not a good show, so I'll just skip that and do my work then.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which is
that
pretty
thing.
much how you market shows. Yeah. So if I
Prime
were to,
time.
yeah, so I think, right, even though media is accessible now, I think getting into or getting your product out and advertising it is much harder because like on Netflix, you can, again, it's on demand. If I want to watch Community, I can just press Community. I don't have to wait for another show to end before I can watch
Mm,
Community. But last time, you had, like you said, you had the schedules, right? So you had to wait for show A to end before show B gets shown. Yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes you do have those people who will watch show A just to check it out, and maybe they'll like it.
Mm,
So it's definitely much harder nowadays to get a
mm,
product out and to hook that audience. Yeah, which brings to discussion, social media and
yeah.
yeah, just online
The
marketing.
internet.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
another topic altogether. Yeah. So before we end, we as we did last week, we asked you guys, to leave some comments, leave some questions on our Instagrams, and we are going to respond to them in this segment, audience
Yeah.
engagement. Yeah, and it's a segment that we want to keep having, just to have some sense of continuity, yeah,
Mm,
for audience
and
in terms of audience
engagement as well.
engagement. Yeah. Okay, so uh, this is from last week, last episode. We didn't get to answer this because my friend asked it. But my friend Faz, hi Faz, she asks, where do you see yourself in 5 and 10 years? So there's two different time periods, right? So this is for both of us, of course. So I guess I can answer first. Where I see myself in 5 years, by then I would have had my degree already. So I do hopefully see myself in the youth sector, doing social work there, doing a lot of youth work. Uh, I would have, I still, I think I still be a junior social worker by then. But yeah, I still hope to be in the youth sector in 5 years time, and then in 10 years time, maybe I want to venture into more towards the maybe child protection services, or maybe go back to fostering services. So yeah, so that's in terms of my career, and then maybe in terms of my personal life, ideally, when I'm 5, I'm married, and then maybe in 10 years time, I'll be 25. I mean, no, 35. Yeah, maybe be a dad. Maybe. Yeah, yeah. That's how I see myself in 5 and 10 years time. How about you, Manuel?
Right. For me, okay, in 5 years, hopefully I'll be working. I'm in the art industry. Was it really art at this rate? Like in the video game industry. So hopefully I'll be. I don't know what company I'm going for, but hopefully I'll be doing animation because I realized animation is something I can enjoy doing, and I feel like I have an eye for. But even then, that's subjective. So that's what I feel like I'll be doing, working in doing animation, 3D animation. 10 years, I actually enjoy teaching a lot, like teaching whatever. Heck, even in raids like Destiny 2, I raid a lot. So I like doing the teaching parts. Um, what else in 10 years though? Yeah, teaching. Where that's a something else. But personally, in 5 years, I don't know, man. Hopefully, well, definitely, I'll still be enjoying video games.
Mm, yeah, same.
But like, don't know if I'll be with anyone or whatever. In 10 years, I'll definitely still be enjoying video games, albeit at a more limited capacity. Hopefully, I don't end up like those. Oh, where's the X button on this thing? And then like holding a virtual orb or whatever. So, yeah, that's what I see myself in 5 and 10 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also add. Yeah, I hope that. No, not I hope. I know that my enjoyment of pop culture will still be the same.
Yeah.
Hopefully more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So fast, those are our answers for your question.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Did Ishad ask you the same question as me?
I doubt so. You can ask first. We can go back.
All right, so all right, Ishad asks, Manuel, who is your number one dream girl, non-fictional? I don't know. No one really. I'm not interested in thinking about that. It's a
Maybe
dream.
she's just asking. Do you have any celebrity crushes? I guess.
Currently, no. I mean, if someone looks good, then yeah, they look good. Nothing else. I don't have any. I don't want to try to have any emotional attachment to someone just because they look good. Try to separate that. But yeah, that's my answer. Boring, but yeah, that's my answer. And what did
Okay.
Ishad ask you?
Okay. So a question from Isha. Isha asked me 2 questions. All right. The first one is Qory. Would you rather have 5 manuals or a 5-year-old manual? And this is a question I can easily answer it. I can easily answer it. I'll gladly take the 5-year-old manual. You know why?
Because 5-year-old Manuel is the same as 26-year-old Manuel.
No, because 5-year-old manual still has room to grow,
to change,
to be molded, into a decent human being. But if I were to have 5 manuals, I can barely handle one. So I don't think I would have 5, Isha. Can you handle 5 manuals? I don't think so.
Can I even handle another of myself?
Yes. So 5-year-old manual. All right. I'll raise him well. I'll raise him. Okay.
Guess that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, Brenda asks,
Hi, Brenda.
when am I gonna start? When am I gonna start trying Final Fantasy 14? Probably later. I'll message you. It's being recorded on a Tuesday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it. That's all she asked.
Speaking of Final Fantasy 14, our good friend Rudy has been playing it. So,
ooh.
Yeah, if you wanna discuss it with him.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll probably hook up with him.
So.
The game.
All right. Another question from Faz. This one is this episode. So Faz asks, specifically me, how's your cat doing? Now I'm gonna say at the time of this recording, I don't know because we don't have a cat yet. We haven't gotten the cat yet. It'll be coming, hopefully after polling day. So by that time, our house will have to be cat safe. get ready. But if I were to guess, it's probably doing fine, chilling at its foster carer's home, scratching stuff. Yeah. So looking forward to meeting it, and thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. All right. Do you have any other questions? No, right?
No.
So the next question is from Ishad, and it's for both of us.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So he asks, who are you voting for this general elections and why? Now, Ishad, I will be very quick to say, on behalf of Manuel and I, that politics will stay far away from our podcast. Okay, I responded to someone else on our Instagram. The person asked us to talk about GE. We will not. But on behalf of Manuel again, I will say this. It is likely that everyone listening to our podcast can vote and has to vote, right? So we encourage you guys to be informed, read the news, and in terms of like reading the manifestos of the political parties, go directly to the source because again, even though our news is still pretty trustworthy, but I recommend you to go directly to the source so that you can see it unfiltered, and yeah, just stay informed. And remember, your vote is secret, right? You cannot tell people your vote.
Depends on your GRC. But anyway, that's besides the point. I actually have a point to add on.
Yeah.
When you want to look for the manifestos, NUS, I believe they made a website. They hired web designers and everything to like really condense what the manifestos are all about. To like really simplify it to the like as best as they can. I have a link. We'll probably put it, or we will put it in the description. I'll share it with you, Qory, later.
Right.
And, so shout outs to B for sharing the link with me.
Okay. Thank you, B.
Get it. Yep.
All right. Okay, and the last question for this episode is from Hasif. Hello, Hasif.
Ooh.
How are you doing? I hope you're fine.
Like
Hasif asks.
our junior
yes,
Hasif,
yeah,
right?
our junior Hasif.
Okay,
so
cool.
Hasif asks, are you gonna have plans to stream on Spotify? Kissy face emoji.
Ooh.
Now I will answer that very quick. Hasif, the answer is no. We do not have plans right now to stream on Spotify because similar to my beat making, getting material on Spotify, you need to go through a third party. You can't just directly upload it on Spotify. You need some kind of distributor or some kind of label to help you out. So in terms of podcasting, if you do a quick Google search, Spotify does provide a list of third-party distributors to go through. So if you sign up with them, then I think you can claim a spot on Spotify for your podcast. But of course, it's like a whole different, it's a whole number of steps to go through. And right now, we are doing this as a hobby. So the answer is a no right now. But the opportunity is there. So if we do want to go on Spotify, then we will update you guys. But for now, no. So YouTube, subscribe, and listen to us on YouTube.
Yep.
All right. If there are any weird jump cuts, guys, it's because we had some technical issues in terms of connection. So please excuse us. But yeah, we have come to the end of our podcast. Before we end, we do want to share some words, some kind words, comments, reminders to people. All right. I just want to say, I think Manuel feel free to add in, but I just want to say, in this day and age, it's very important to maintain some sense of empathy and also consideration for other people. It's very easy nowadays to just jump on the bandwagon, a hate bandwagon, and to ignore a lot of context, to ignore a lot of other sources for purposes of just trying to push an agenda. So yeah, we just want to remind everyone, just be nice, be kind to each other. And whatever you see on social media, I think especially those who follow Twitter, right? Twitter is notorious for being an echo chamber right now. So yeah, just be very aware of the things that you read, right? Be aware of the things that you consume and expose yourself to. And yeah, just be kind to each other, and yeah, help color the world with a little positivity, because we could use some positivity right now in the world. Yeah. So those are my closing statements. Manuel, you wanna add on?
Yeah. before I don't want to add too much because I feel like I might go off on a tangent that it becomes a podcast that it's not in the spirit of. But yes, Qory has said everything that has to be said. Just be nice to each other. It's the internet. Everything's out there, and just be aware of what you say. Will always have a lasting impact.
Yeah.
Like for yourself or for whoever you're commenting on. Just be aware of that. Stay safe. It's the internet. Just make sure you know what you're writing.
Yeah.
And
be mindful.
That's all I have to say.
Be mindful.
Be very mindful.
Be very mindful. Yeah. And it's something that we practice on this podcast a lot. You know, you don't see the behind the scenes, but Manuel and I we discuss after every recording, right? It's just a glimpse into the behind the scenes. But after every recording, we go through the recording together, and you know, we have to edit things which we feel are not, you know, it's not what we want for the podcast. So, you know, just be mindful of things when you're on the internet. And yeah, you know, this can be a topic if we want to talk about it, because I feel like it's a very important thing to discuss, to have a discussion about. But for now, we will just keep things lighthearted, and we will end the podcast with that reminder. So thank you guys for listening. This podcast, hopefully, is shorter than the previous one.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mano, you want to do the YouTuber thing?
All right. Remember, guys, this is the Two Best Friends Talking podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe.
All right, and remember to follow us on Instagram if you're interested. We have all sorts of Q&As. Hopefully, we want to post highlights, and all the announcements will go through us directly and also through the official Instagram. So stay connected, all right?
Yeah.
And with that, we'll sign off. Two Best Friends Talking. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Music flash.